Oh man, that place, like,
Yeah.
if you weren't there, you weren't there.
Yeah.
So, for me, I was kind of an outsider, but it was cool. It was kind of like almost like that gauntlet you had to run in Wally to get familiar, because everyone was in those ciphers. I remember seeing Lokash murder a cipher at Coyotes. You know, he's a street dude, but he was in there. He was dressed nice. I mean, he smoked the cipher, bro. And I was like, who is that guy? And man, Juice was there just tearing everybody up whenever he was there. Like, that was how it went down. Even the bro Joe who worked there at the time, remember Big J.O. Like, man, that guy could freestyle, man. And he would be out there just slaughtering these ciphers. Not that I think the guy slaughtered it, but like Exhale was always there. He was there. I'm not gonna say he was killing it, but he was there. Like,
I remember Exhale. Yeah.
Remember Exhale? Yeah. Like all these figures would be in those ciphers. I remember being in the cipher with Kuma and Hyperclips at Coyotes before. Lady Six. Like, everyone was there. Like, if there was a cipher going, you just jumped in and did your thing. You know, it was never about who's the best, who's the baddest. It was about keeping it going, Like, this isn't a competition again. This is like building. And I learned so much from being here in Wally that every time I went back to Hawke's Bay, I just felt out of place. Like, I'd be at a gig like, yo, let's have a cipher. And everyone would be like, nah, all right then. And you'd probably find 2 people that would want a cipher. And it just never went well, because you get every guy that would sort of jump in anywhere and everywhere, and it's like, bro, you were standing in a circle, because it goes around. Like we're having a sesh. It goes around. It's like, and then he'll pass it over here, and then this guy will come in and he takes it. Man, they had no idea about any of that, eh? So often going home was educational, bro. Like, but, who am I to tell them how things run in another city, That's fair, man. Yeah. I wasn't from Wally. I was from Hawke's Bay. I wasn't in with what these guys were doing. I wasn't a part of that. Sweet. I was doing my own thing, man. I was always on my own journey anyway. Yeah.
Sorry, bro. That was fuzzy.
Yeah. So, I guess my introduction to MCing was actually battle rap in a funny way.
Yeah, word. It does end up like that sometimes when people,
Yeah, bro. Definitely.
Some battlers that become MCs and vice versa.
Yeah.
Kind of hand in hand.
Yeah, definitely. But also, it's cool to see the evolution of battle rap as well.
Yep.
Well.
Okay, that's dope. Okay. What? Okay. What are some of the projects that you've worked on and collabed with people? Have you made your own stuff?
Yeah, not as much as I would have liked to. I guess going back as well, like I was in a group with my bro Dartel, and we had like a handful of songs that we just never recorded, and that was probably more to do with me living in Hawke's Bay and him living in Wellington. So he released a solo project, which I still think was really good, called Shoot for the Moon. A few years later, after a bit of a layoff, I just decided, man, music's not really my bag right now. I'm just going to chill, go to work, make this money and be happy. But then introducing somebody into my story was my cousin Ash, who we all know, Ashbroke. I met Ash at our first ever gig in Wellington at the end of 2007. He was standing at the front of the stage asking for the mic. Who are you? Nah. He wasn't asking me, but, the girl was asking Akis, and Akis was like, nah, bro. Throwback to when those boys were putting gigs on and whatnot. But I met Ash on and off through the years. I think it was about 2009. I was here to play at the last Super Club. Remember that show that Shan put on at Shooters at the Grand now? Yeah, all the multi-level one. We played at the last one, man. We played on the hip-hop stage, and it was us, so HBK, Perceive, I'm not sure, but I think Flows might have jumped up as well, PNC, David Dallas, and Scribe, I think. It's pretty much like a who's who of the scene at the time. Wow. Well, them, not me, I'm not putting myself in that bracket, but it was cool to be opening for, PNC, Scribe, David Dallas. I met Ash. I was hanging out with Ash that night, man. I was like, who is this loud, obnoxious guy, man? And then we get to talking, and he's like, "Oh, what's your surname?" And I tell him, and he go, "Where are you from?" "Oh, I'm from Parongaho, bro. Bro, I'm from Central Hawke's Bay. I'm from Parongaho." Oh man, I bet you I'm related to this dude. Anyway, fast forward 2012, I move here, and he pretty much becomes like one of my closest friends. Like he's the thing like that people don't know about Ash. You only know it if he lets you know it. Is he's got a really generous nature, and like he's got a real big heart. Sorry, cuz, for saying this on cameras, but like if you're on his good side, that dude will be one of your closest advocates. And like I went through some real rough times when I first moved here, and he sort of was on my on my case daily. Cuz, let's get out, let's go for a walk, like making sure that I stayed positive, kept my head up, and I'll never forget that, man. So. Yeah, much credit and respect to Ash for who he is and his character. Like that's something that people don't always see, but it's definitely there. Anyway, so I started working, and work was really busy. But I'd do gigs occasionally. Like I wasn't really making music, but say 2-1 would be, bro, we got a gig at what was the pool hall? What was the name of it? The one with I can't even Fast Eddie's. Sorry, bro. Mind blank, bro. Yeah. Like he'd be like, "Yo, we're playing at Fast Eddie's, come through." And I'm like, "Yeah, for sure." Like,
right.
Anyone who I was cool with from before, if they reached out, I'd be like, "Yeah, bro, definitely." Just all for Aroha too. Like, I show up, whatever, do the gig, go to work. It was cool. And then Ash was like, "Oh, I'm starting this thing, One Roof," and I was like, "Cool, man." But I wasn't really doing anything musically, and he was like, "Well, you do have experience with live stuff and all of that. I would appreciate your input and feedback." And I'm like, "All right, cool." And then he sent me a beat, and I was like, "All right." He's like, "Do a verse." So I wrote a verse, went all right. Then I was over at his house, and he was listening to beats, and I was like, "Oh man, can I have this?" So, "Oh man, I really like this." And anyway, he gave me this beat, and I wrote a whole song to it that night. Came back the next day, and it was sort of like, "Oh, I guess you're back in making music then." I was like, "Yeah, I guess I am." So sort of came back on board with the whole One Roof thing around 2015, and then in 2017, I believe it was, I released like a 4-track EP with it was not a lot, but like it was all with the same producer. And basically I showed up at his house in like October 2016, and he goes, "Here's the beats I want to do, let's go." So I had to write all the songs from the ground up. Like I actually didn't come into that project with anything previous. They were all brand new.